If you want to launch a startup in 2026, my hope is that this video might save you months or years of wasted effort. I've watched the same mistakes kill startups over and over after coaching thousands of founders across dozens of different business models. In this video, I'll share 10 harsh lessons with the exact frameworks to avoid them. No sugarcoating, just the brutal reality I wish someone had told me before my first startup. So let's dive in. Lesson number 1, your idea doesn't matter. Your business model does. I can't tell you how many times I've heard I have the perfect product idea. But the harsh truth is that most product ideas are worthless. I've seen brilliant product ideas fail because the business model was broken, and I've seen mediocre product ideas succeed because the business model was sound. Your idea is just a starting point. Your business model is what actually matters. The framework to avoid this pitfall is don't just start with a product idea or even a lean canvas for your product idea. Start with business model design. Ask yourself, what's the real problem I'm solving? Who's affected? How much do they currently pay? What's your unique value proposition or promise? What's your unfair advantage or moat? Can this be repeatably scalable? There's quite a bit here, which can be overwhelming. The good news, of course, is that you don't have to tackle all the right answers at the outset to get started. But you should know the right questions to be systematically asking yourself along the way. Now, most founders skip this step and then wonder why their perfect idea fails months down the road. Ideas themselves are cheap. Business models that work repeatably and scalably is the real work here. Lesson number 2, building first is backwards. Think, demo, sell, build. Most founders think the path is build, then launch, then sell, but that's costly, risky, and frankly, backwards. The better path is demo, sell, build. Now, if you're a regular to this channel, you know I constantly harp about demo, sell, build versus build, demo, sell, and there are probably a dozen videos here on this channel with many different concrete examples ranging from B2B to B2C products. Yet, after each and every video, there are still always a few comments at the bottom of the video to the effect of, this will never work for us because we are different. Now, the harsh reality here is that you're not really all that different. I've seen this work across every product category imaginable. Every product in the world needs to be sold, and most sales don't need a working product, but a good demo to close the deal. If someone won't buy your demo, they definitely will not buy your product. So why not start with the demo? The framework to avoid this pitfall is taking a traction first versus a build first approach. Because remember, if you can't sell the demo, you won't be able to sell the product. Lesson number 3, 90% of validation fails because you ask the wrong question. The most common validation questions I see founders using in their conversations with customers are asking things like, would you use this? Or will you pay for this? These questions kill startups. Everyone says yes to these kinds of hypothetical questions because it costs them nothing. Here's what actually works. Instead of, would you use this? You should ask, will you pre-order this? Do you see the difference? One is future-based, the other requires commitment in the present. The framework here to avoid this pitfall is don't measure what customers say, always measure what they do. If 10 people say, I'd probably use that, but 0 are going to pre-order, you have 0 validation. Customer actions always speak louder than their words. Lesson number 4, your first 10 customers should look nothing like your next 1,000. This one cost me 9 months with one of my early products. I had built a general purpose file sharing product. Users loved it and gave glowing testimonials, and so I doubled down and built tons of more features that they were requesting. After 9 months, I ended up with thousands of free users that weren't buying anything. Why? Because I had been targeting and listening to the wrong early adopters. Lots of founders think that chasing more free users will help you build a better product faster, and so they pursue things like freemium. The harsh reality is that freemium is not a business model, but a marketing tactic. One you can experiment with later down the road, but it's not the best tactic to use when you're just launching a new product. In my case, I decided to focus on the much smaller minority of paying customers and learned that what they wanted was quite different than what my non-paying users wanted. I saved this product by getting rid of freemium in the short term and pivoting and growing this early adopter segment from there. The framework here to avoid this is carefully handpicking your first 10 early adopters and charging from day one. If you can deliver and capture value back from your 10 carefully picked early adopters, you wouldn't be able to do this with hundreds or thousands of random users. Lesson number 5, revenue solves most problems, funding creates new ones. Everyone wants to raise money. VC funding seems like the goal. Here's what they don't tell you. Your first $1,000 in revenue teaches you way more than $2 million in funding. Why? Because earning revenue forces you to solve a real customer problem, while funding only sometimes delays that reality. The framework I recommend here to all founders is to bootstrap your way to at least your first 10 paying customers, then decide if you need funding at all. And before you think this is impossible for your product, remember lesson number 2. You can apply demo sell build to do this. Customer funding is much greater than investor funding. When customers pay, you validate your model, you learn what works, you maintain control, and you potentially build sustainably. When investors pay, you validate their thesis, not yours. You learn how to pitch, which might be a good thing. You might lose some control along the way, and you then start optimizing for exit and not delivering customer value necessarily. The key takeaway here is that it is possible to bootstrap any idea to the point of validating demand first. Lesson number 6, co-founders are like marriage, date before you commit. 80% of billion-dollar companies have 2 or more co-founders. So you need a co-founder, right? Yes, but if you choose wrong here, you only make already hard startups even harder. The harsh truth here is that most co-founder breakups can kill a company. The framework I like to use here is to experiment quickly with co-founders, but hire slowly. In other words, find ways to work together before you commit. Do a weekend project or a side project for 3 months, see how you handle conflict and align on your vision, mission, and goals, and then commit. And so moving on, lesson number 7, your product's bigger context is much greater than your product's features. Don't make a better camera, make a better photographer. This lesson changed my entire business. Apple didn't disrupt cameras with a better camera, they disrupted cameras with smartphones that made you better at capturing moments. The framework here is that features live in the solution context, but customer outcomes live in a much bigger context. And every product has this much bigger context. So ask yourself, what job is the customer trying to do? What outcome do they really want? How can I make them better, not just my product? When I shifted my internal mantra from building a better business modeling tool like Lean Canvas to making better entrepreneurs, everything changed in my business. Lesson number 8, overthinking kills more startups than bad ideas. A perfect plan is a plan for never starting. I see founders spending 6 months planning a perfect pitch deck, creating financial models, doing market research, writing business plans, then they launch and learn that it was all wrong. The framework I use is a 90-day startup blueprint. 90 days is all you need to design a starting business model, validating demand before you build, and if that checks out, then going all in from there. You don't need a perfect plan to start. You can systematically test any idea in just 90 days. Lesson number 9, the happy customer loop is your only growth engine. Forget everything about growth hacks. There's only one growth engine that matters. The true job of an entrepreneur is to make a happy customer. Happy customers tell other people, which bring more happy customers to the mix. And that's it. You can visualize this happy customer loop with this 3-step framework. Step number 1, activation. Get your users to a aha moment quickly. Step number 2, retention. Make them repeatably happy through the happy customer loop. And step number 3, then work on making referrals easier. Most founders obsess over acquisition or conversion, and this is the wrong lever. The happy customer moment is where you deliver value to your customers, and doing that repeatedly is the only causal step that matters. It causes people to use your product more, buy more from you, and tell other people, which creates a natural growth loop. And finally, lesson number 10. 2026 won't be any different unless you are. I'll start when the market is ready. I'll launch after the holidays. I'll validate when I have more time. The harsh truth, waiting for perfect timing is waiting forever. 2026 will look exactly like 2025 unless you're ready to think differently. After working with thousands of founders, I found that what separates success isn't differing skill sets, but differing mindsets. Remember, with the right mindsets, 90 days is all you need to test any type of an idea. Like planting a tree, the best time to start was yesterday, the second best time is now. So if you have an idea gathering dust, stop waiting and just start. On that note, if you're looking to get started with a new idea, I'll link a couple of resources in the description below. And if you're interested in learning more about the 90-day startup blueprint, you should watch this video over here where I break down the process step by step. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.